The first thing you need to understand is that he is the worst thing that has ever happened to my mornings. Not traffic, not alarms, not even Mondays. Him. Specifically, him and that stupid bike of his that he insists on parking right in front of my gate like it's some kind of personal attack. Move your bike. I live here. That's exactly why it shouldn't be here. He doesn't even look guilty. Of course he doesn't. He leans against the handlebars like he's posing for a photo shoot no one asked for, one foot lazily resting on the pedal, eyes half-lidded like he has all the time in the world. Meanwhile, I'm standing there with my bag digging into my shoulder, already late, already annoyed, and somehow still not surprised. "You're 5 minutes early today," he adds, glancing at his watch, trying to impress me. I'd rather trip into traffic. "Careful," he says, tilting his head slightly, that infuriating smirk spreading across his face. "I might save you." "I'd rather you didn't." That earns me a quiet laugh. Not loud, never loud, just enough to make it worse somehow. We've been neighbors for 12 years. 12. That's long enough to memorize someone against your will. I know his routines, his habits, the way he always steps out at the exact same time every morning like he's synced to my schedule just to be annoying. I know he drinks iced coffee even when it's raining, that he never ties his shoelaces properly, that he leaves his window open at night no matter how cold it gets. And I know, unfortunately, that he enjoys this. "Move," I repeat, trying to push past him. He doesn't move. "Say please." "No." "Then I guess you're not leaving." I glare at him. "You're unbelievable." "And yet," he says casually, finally shifting his bike just enough to let me squeeze through, "you still talk to me every day." "That's because you won't leave me alone." Same difference. I hate that he always has an answer. I hate that he never seems affected, never flustered, never thrown off balance like a normal person. It's like arguing with a wall that smirks back at you. I step past him, brushing his shoulder just a little harder than necessary. He notices. Of course he does. "Violent today," he comments. "Don't flatter yourself." I start walking down the street, hopping. Just once he won't follow. He does. Naturally. "You forgot your notes yesterday," he says, falling into step beside me like it's the most normal thing in the world. "I didn't forget, I just didn't need them." "You did, you always do." "I don't need you keeping track of my life." "I'm not," he shrugs. "I just notice things." That makes me pause for half a second. Just a second. Because he says it so easily. Like it's nothing. Like noticing me isn't a big deal. It shouldn't be. And yet. I shake it off, walking faster. "You're annoying." I've been told. Frequently. Mostly by you. Take the hint. He laughs again, quieter this time, like it's just for himself. But he doesn't leave. He never does. And that's the problem. Because no matter how much I complain, no matter how many times I tell him to stay away, to stop showing up, to stop being everywhere, he's still here. Right next to me. Like he always has been. Like he always will be. And for some reason, that bothers me more than it should. If there's one thing I hate more than him being annoying, it's him being right. Unfortunately, he's right far too often for my liking. Like this morning, when I left the house in a rush, skipped breakfast, and told myself I'd grab something later. I didn't. Of course I didn't. By the time lunch rolls around, my stomach is loudly protesting my life choices, and I'm pretending it's not happening. I'm sitting at my usual spot, trying to look busy enough that no one talks to me, when something hits my shoulder. "Hey." I catch it just before it falls. A sandwich, wrapped neatly, still warm. I don't need to look up to know who threw it. "I'm not hungry," I say flatly, even though my stomach immediately betrays me with another low growl. "Sure," he replies, dropping into the seat across from me like he was invited. "That's why you look like you're about to pass out." I do not look like that. You do. I don't need your commentary. "Good," he shrugs, "because I'm not offering any, I'm offering food." I stare at the sandwich in my hand like it's personally offended me. I didn't ask for this. You don't ask for anything, he says casually, reaching for his drink. That's kind of your thing. I open my mouth to argue, then close it again. Because annoyingly, he's not wrong. That doesn't mean I need you to do this, I mutter. Too late, he says. Already did. I glare at him. You're insufferable. And yet, he leans back slightly, watching me with that same calm, irritating expression. You're still holding it. I look down. He has a point. I hate that he has a point. You're not getting a thank you, I say, unwrapping it anyway. I wasn't expecting one. Good. Because you're bad at it. I am not. You are. I take a bite just to stop the conversation and immediately regret how good it tastes. Not because of the food, but because it makes this worse, makes him right again. He notices, of course he does. Told you, he says quietly. I don't respond. I just keep eating, a little faster than I should, hoping he won't comment on it. He doesn't. That's new. Instead, he just sits there, scrolling through his phone like this is normal. Like tossing me food, sitting with me, noticing things about me, like any of this is normal. It's not. You don't have to do this, I say after a moment, my voice quieter now. He doesn't look up. I know. Then why do you? He pauses. Just for a second. Then he shrugs, like it's the simplest thing in the world. Because you forget to take care of yourself. I frown slightly. I don't forget. You do, he says, finally glancing at me. You just don't think it matters. That hits a little harder than it should. I look away, focusing on the sandwich again. You're overthinking it. Am I? Yes. Then stop eating. I hate you. No, you don't. He says it so easily. So confidently. Like he knows. I don't respond this time. Because the truth is, I don't hate him. I just don't understand him. Why he notices things no one else does. Why he shows up without being asked. Why he acts like it's normal to care this much. And maybe the most confusing part. Why I'm starting to get used to it. That scares me more than anything. Because if I get used to him being there, what happens if one day he is? Rain was not part of my plan. Neither was being stuck outside the convenience store with a flimsy bag, a dying phone, and a sky that looked like it had personally decided to ruin my day. The forecast said light drizzle. This was not a drizzle. This was revenge. I stand under the narrow awning, watching the rain slam against the pavement in sheets, already calculating how fast I'd have to run to avoid getting completely soaked. The answer is, not fast enough. Planning to sprint through that. I don't turn around. I'll make it. Yeah, he says, stepping beside me like he owns the space. You'll also catch a cold. I won't. You always do. I don't. You do. I finally glance at him, annoyed. Why are you here? Buying coffee. In a storm. He lifts the cup slightly. I commit to bad decisions. That explains a lot. He smiles, of course he does, then looks back at the rain. Come on. No. I have an umbrella. I have pride. You also have terrible judgment. I'm not walking with you. Then you're swimming home. I'll run. You'll slip. I won't. You will. I step forward just to prove a point. He grabs my wrist. Not hard. Not rough. Just enough to stop me. Wait, he says, quieter now. I freeze. Not because of the rain. Not because of his hand. But because of how easily he stopped me. Like it was natural. Like he always does. Let go, I say, but my voice doesn't come out as sharp as I want it to. He does, immediately. But the space between us feels different now. Umbrella, he says again, softer this time. I hesitate. Just for a second. Then, fine. Victory flickers across his face, quick and subtle. I'll regret this, I mutter. You will, he agrees, but at least you'll be dry. We step out together. The umbrella isn't big enough. Of course it is. Our shoulders brush almost instantly, and I shift slightly, trying to create space that doesn't exist. Stop moving, he murmurs. You're too close. There's literally nowhere else to stand. You could walk faster. You could stop overthinking. I'm not overthinking. You are. I'm not. You're doing it right now. I open my mouth to argue. Then stop. Because he's closer than before. Much closer. The rain muffles everything around us, turning the world into a blur of sound and motion. It's just us under this tiny space, walking in sync whether we mean to or not. I can hear his breathing. Feel the warmth from his side. Smell the faint scent of coffee and something that's just him. You're quiet, he says after a moment. So are you. That's because you're thinking. I'm not. You are. I glance up at him, ready to argue. And regret it instantly. He's already looking at me. Not teasing. Not smirking. Just looking. My chest tightens unexpectedly. What? I ask a little too quickly. Nothing, he says, but his voice is softer now. We keep walking. Closer than we should be. Closer than we've ever been. And neither of us moves away. The rain keeps falling, heavy and relentless, but under this umbrella. Everything feels still. Too still. Like something is about to happen. Like something already has. By the time we reach my gate, I step away too fast, the sudden distance almost jarring. Thanks, I say, avoiding his eyes. Anytime. There's a pause. Longer than it should be. I fumble with the gate, pushing it open quickly. Don't get used to it. He leans slightly against the fence, watching me. Too late. I roll my eyes, stepping inside. But as I close the gate, I can still feel it. The space where he stood too close. The way everything shifted, just a little. And the worst part. I'm not sure I want it to go back to the way it was. It happens on a night that feels too ordinary for something like this. No rain, no drama, just quiet. The streetlights flicker on one by one, casting that soft golden glow over everything, and the neighborhood settles into its usual calm. My brother is out, the house is too quiet, and for some reason I end up outside, sitting on the low wall by the gate, thinking about nothing in particular. Or at least trying to. You're going to catch a cold. I don't even flinch. You've said that already this week, I reply, not looking at him. And you didn't listen then either. Maybe I like bad decisions. He huffs out a quiet laugh and walks over, stopping a few steps away instead of right beside me this time. That alone feels strain. Move, he says after a second. Why? Because I'm sitting there. There's space over there. I don't want that space. I roll my eyes but shift anyway, sliding slightly to the side. He sits down next to me, close enough that our shoulders almost touch, but not quite. It's quiet again. Not uncomfortable. Just different. What are you doing out here? He asks. Nothing. You're bad at nothing. And you're bad at minding your own business. Also true. Another pause. The kind that stretches, just a little too long. You've been weird, he says suddenly. I stiffen slightly. I haven't. You have. I haven't. You have. I glance at him, annoyed. You repeat things when you don't have a real argument. I repeat things when they're true. That's debatable. Not really. I sigh, leaning back slightly. You're the one acting weird. How? You keep showing up. He raises an eyebrow. I've always shown up. Not like this. That makes him pause. Just for a second. Like what? he asks. I hesitate, because I don't actually know how to explain it. Not without saying something I'm not ready to say. Nothing, I mutter. He watches me for a moment, like he's trying to figure something out. Then, look at me. I shouldn't. I do. Big mistake. Because he's closer than I expected. Not leaning in. Not touching. Just close enough that the space between us feels deliberate. My heart stutters. You were saying, he murmurs. I wasn't saying anything. You were. I changed my mind. That's convenient. So is your timing. He tilts his head slightly, eyes flickering between mine like he's searching for something. What are you so afraid of? He asks quietly. I'm not afraid of anything. Then why do you keep backing away? I'm not backing away. You are. I'm not. Then stop. My breath catches. Because he's right. I am backing away. Even now. Even when I don't want to. I'm not. Stop thinking, he says softly. I'm not thinking. You always are. I'm not. Then prove it. Before I can process what he means. He leans in. Slow. Careful. Like he's giving me time to stop him. My heart is racing so fast it's almost painful. I should move. I don't. His eyes flicker to my lips. Then back up. Everything feels too quiet. Too still. Like the entire world is holding its breath. Tell me to stop, he whispers. I can't. I don't. And that's the problem. He's so close now, I can feel his breath. Feel the heat of him. Feel everything I've been trying not to notice. And then, a car honks loudly down the street. The moment shatters instantly. We both pull back like we've been burned. Too fast, too sudden. Too obvious. Neither of us says anything. Neither of us looks at the other. The silence this time is different. Heavier. Charged. I should go, I say quickly, standing up before I can think too much about it. Yeah, he replies, his voice quieter than before. I don't look back as I walk inside. I don't need to. Because I can still feel it. The almost. The what if. The thing we didn't do. But definitely wanted to. And somehow, that feels worse. If there's one thing I hate more than awkward silence, it's pretending something didn't happen when it very obviously did. And yet, that's exactly what we're doing. The next morning feels normal. Too normal. Like the night before was just some shared hallucination we both agreed not to acknowledge. He's back to leaning on his bike. I'm back to glaring at him. The routine resets. Except it doesn't. Because now I notice everything. The way his eyes linger a second too long. The way he almost says something, then doesn't. The way the air between us feels tighter. Move your bike, I say, because apparently I'm incapable of originality. You're late, he replies. That's not your concern. It is if you trip over it. I won't. You almost did yesterday. That was different. How? I was distracted. By what? Nothing. He watches me for a moment, like he knows I'm lying. I look away first. Big mistake. Because that's when it starts. Hey, you dropped this. I turn to see someone else, someone new, holding out my pen. Oh, thanks, I say, taking it. No problem, he smiles. You're in my math class, right? Yeah. I've seen you around. That's reassuring. He laughs. I'm serious, you're hard to miss. I don't know how to respond to that. Which is exactly when he decides to walk over. Of course. Perfect timing. Everything okay? He asks casually, stepping beside me. Too casually. Like he didn't just appear out of nowhere. Yeah, I reply, we're just talking. I can see that. The other guy glances between us. Hi. He nods once. Hey. Silence. Uncomfortable, slightly tense silence. Then, I should get going, the guy says quickly. See you in class. Yeah, see you. He leaves. And the moment he's gone. What was that? I blink at him. What was what? That. That was a conversation. You don't talk like that. Like what? Like that. That's not an explanation. He exhales sharply, running a hand through his hair. You know what I mean. No, I don't. Yes, you do. I don't. You're being difficult. You're being weird. We stare at each other. The tension is immediate. Sharp. Unavoidable. You don't even know him, he says. And you just talk to him like that. Like a normal person. You're not like that. My expression hardens. What does that mean? It means, he stops himself, jaw tightening slightly. It means what? I push. He looks away briefly, like he's trying to find the right words. Or maybe trying not to say the wrong ones. It means I don't like it, he mutters finally. My heart skips. Just for a second. Then I force myself to recover. You don't like a lot of things. Not like this. Why? He doesn't answer right away. That's all the answer I need. I cross my arms. You don't get a say in who I talk to. I know. Then stop acting like you do. I'm not acting like I do. You are. I'm not. You are. He exhales, frustrated now. Fine, he says. Do whatever you want. I will. Good. Good. Silence again. But this time, it's different. Colder. Tighter. He steps back slightly, putting space between us. And for some reason, I hate that more than I should. See you later, he says, voice flat now. Yeah. He turns and walks away. Just like that. No teasing, no smirk, no lingering. Nothing. And suddenly, the space next to me feels too empty. I glance toward the direction he left, my chest tightening slightly. This is what I wanted, right? Distance. Less of him. Less of whatever this is. Then why does it feel like something just went wrong? And more importantly, why do I care? Avoiding him turns out to be harder than expected. Not because he's everywhere, though he kind of is, but because I keep noticing his absence in places he used to be. The gate is clear in the mornings. No bike, no smirk, no unnecessary commentary about my schedule. It should feel like a win. It doesn't. It feels off. I tell myself it's better this way. Quieter, easier, less complicated. I go to school, sit through classes, talk when I have to, ignore the weird tight feeling in my chest every time I catch a glimpse of him across the courtyard. Because even when we're not talking, he's still there. Just not with me. And that's new. You're distracted. I look up to see my friend staring at me, unimpressed. I'm not. You just read the same line 3 times. I like repetition. You like lying. I sigh, closing my book. I'm fine. She says, clearly not convinced. Does this have anything to do with your neighbor? No. That was too fast. It's not about him. So it is about him. It's not. She leans forward slightly, lowering her voice. You two had a fight. We didn't fight. You stopped talking. That doesn't mean anything. It means something. It doesn't. She gives me a look, the kind that says she knows I'm being stubborn on purpose. Before I can argue. Hey. I look up. It's him. Not him. The other one. The one from yesterday. Great. Hi, I reply, trying to sound normal. Do you have the notes from earlier? He asks. Yeah, I can send them. Thanks, he smiles, pulling out his phone. You're a lifesaver. I shrug. It's nothing. We exchange numbers quickly, the conversation light, easy. Normal. And that's when I feel it. That familiar shift in the air. I don't need to look to know he's there. But I do anyway. Across the courtyard. Watching. Not obviously. Not in a way anyone else would notice. But I do. Of course I do. Our eyes meet for half a second. Then he looks away. Like it doesn't matter. Like I don't matter. Something twists in my chest. Later that day, I find him by the gate. Of course I do. Like some kind of unavoidable pattern. You're talking to him now, he asks without looking at me. Yeah, I reply. Is that a problem? No. Then why do you sound like it is? I don't. You do. I don't. I cross my arms. You're doing that thing again. What thing? Pretending you don't care. He finally looks at me then. And something in his expression makes my breath catch. I don't pretend, he says quietly. Then what is this? I push. You tell me. I don't know, I snap. You're the one acting weird. I'm not acting weird, he says, his tone tightening slightly. You're the one suddenly letting random guys get close to you. That's none of your business. It is when. He stops. Mid-sentence. Like he said too much. My heart starts racing. When what? I ask, stepping closer. He doesn't answer. Just clenches his jaw, looking away. When what? I repeat, softer now. Silence. Then finally. When I don't like it. Everything goes still. The words hang between us, heavier than they should be. My chest tightens. That's not a reason, I say, even though my voice isn't as steady as I want it to be. I know. Then stop acting like it is. I'm trying. Try harder. He lets out a quiet, frustrated breath, running a hand through his hair again. You think this is easy, he mutters. I didn't ask you to make it hard. You didn't have to. Silence. Thick, uncomfortable. Real. I swallow, looking away first this time. Just stop, I say quietly. Stop what? Stop making things complicated. He watches me for a moment. Then, too late. And somehow, that feels like the truth. I shouldn't go. That's the first thought in my head as I stand outside his gate, staring at it like it personally offended me. It's late. Too late to be here without a reason. Too late to pretend this is casual. And yet, I'm still standing here. Because pretending things are normal stopped working a while ago. Before I can overthink it any further, the gate creaks open. Of course. You're loud when you hesitate, he says, leaning against the frame like he's been expecting me. I wasn't hesitating. You were standing there for 3 minutes. That's not hesitation, that's thinking. Same thing. I roll my eyes, but I don't leave. Neither does he. Well, he asks. Well, what? You're here. That doesn't mean anything. It usually does. I hesitate again. This time, he doesn't call it out. That somehow makes it worse. I start then stop. Great. Very convincing. He watches me carefully now, not teasing for once. Not smirking, just waiting. You've been avoiding me, I say finally. You told me to stop making things complicated. That's not the same thing as disappearing. I didn't disappear. You did. I gave you space. I didn't ask for space. You said you wanted things to be simple. I didn't say I wanted you gone. That lands somewhere between us. Quiet. Heavy. His expression shifts slightly. You're hard to read, he says. So are you. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. I told you I don't like it. That's not the same as telling me why. He exhales slowly, glancing away for a second before looking back at me. You want the truth? Yes. Fine. He steps closer. Not rushed, not hesitant. Just deliberate. My heart starts racing instantly. You matter, he says. 2 words. Simple. Too simple. And somehow, too much. I blink, thrown off balance. That's not fair. Why not? Because you don't get to say things like that and then act like it doesn't mean anything. I'm not acting like it doesn't mean anything. Then what does it mean? He hesitates, just long enough to make my chest tighten. It means I don't like seeing you with other people, he says finally. That's still not an explanation. It is, if you understand it. I don't. You do. I don't, I insist, even though my voice is weaker now. He studies me for a second, then steps even closer. Too close. Close enough that I can feel the shift in the air again. That same tension. Stronger this time. You really don't get it, he murmurs. I don't. Or you just don't want to. That hits. Hard. I swallow, my pulse unsteady. You're my best friend's sister, he says suddenly. The words drop between us like a wall. Solid. Unavoidable. My chest tightens. And I manage. And that should be enough. But it's not. The words slip out before I can stop them. His eyes flicker. Something changes. You shouldn't say things like that, he says quietly. Why? Because it makes this harder. This is already hard. Exactly. Silence. Heavy, thick. Neither of us moves. Neither of us steps back. Then what are we doing? I ask softly. He looks at me like he doesn't have an answer. Like he wishes he did. I don't know, he admits. And for the first time, he sounds unsure. Not confident. Not in control. Just real. And that scares me more than anything. Because if he doesn't know, then neither do I. And whatever this is, it's already gone too far to ignore. Even if we both pretend it hasn't. Distance is supposed to make things easier. That's what people say, right? Take a step back, clear your head, give it time. Except no one ever talks about what happens when distance doesn't feel like relief. When it feels like something missing. He keeps his word. That's the first thing I notice. No more waiting by the gate. No more random interruptions. No more showing up like he belongs in every part of my day. It should feel peaceful. Instead, it feels empty. Mornings are quieter now. Too quiet. I leave the house without arguing with anyone. No bike blocking my path. No sarcastic comments about being late. Just silence and the sound of my own footsteps. I hate it. Which is ridiculous. Because this is what I wanted. Right. You've been weird lately. I glance up from my tray. You said that already. And you ignored me already. I'm consistent. You're avoiding something. I'm not. You are. I sigh, pushing my food around without actually eating it. Why does everyone keep saying that? Because it's obvious. It's not. It is. Before I can respond, someone slides into the seat across from me. Hey. I look up. Him. The other him. Of course. Hi, I reply, forcing a smile. Did you finish the assignment? He asks. Yeah, I'll send it to you later. Thanks, he says, grinning. I owe you one. You don't. I do, so coffee after school. I hesitate. Not because of him. Because of something else. Or someone else. But he's not here. Not anymore. Sure, I say finally. Great. I tell myself it's nothing. Just coffee. Just normal. just proving that I can do this without overthinking, without caring. Except I do care. Because halfway through the conversation, I feel it again. That shift, that awareness. I look up instinctively. And there he is. Across the courtyard. Not close. Not interrupting. Just there. Watching. No. Not watching. Avoiding. Like he saw us first and decided not to come over. That hurts more than if he had. After school, I'm by the gate again. Waiting. Not for him. Obviously. For coffee. With someone else. Totally normal. You look like you're expecting someone else. I blink, startled. What? The guy beside me laughs lightly. You keep looking around. I'm just checking the time. Hi. Before I can respond. Footsteps. Familiar ones. I don't need to look. But I do anyway. He's walking past. Not stopping. Not slowing down. Not even glancing in my direction. Like I'm not there. Like none of this matters. My chest tightens unexpectedly. Friend, the guy asks. I hesitate. Something like that. The coffee is fine. The conversation is easy. Everything is exactly what it should be. Normal. Simple. Uncomplicated. And I hate it. Because there's no tension. No sharp edges. No feeling like every word matters just a little too much. It's just nice. And nice feels wrong. When I get home, the street is quiet again. His window is closed. That's new. The lights are off. That's worse. I stand there for a second longer than necessary. Then shake my head and walk inside. Later that night, I hear music. Faint. From next door. The window must be open again. I step closer without thinking, standing near mine. The sound is familiar. Soft. Low. Not loud enough to complain about. Just enough to notice. I rest my forehead lightly against the glass. And for a moment, I don't move. This is what distance looks like. No arguments. No teasing. No almost moments. Just silence. And the things you don't say. I thought this would make things easier. Clearer. Safer. But all it's done is make me realize how much space he actually takes up in my life. And how empty everything feels without him in it. The storm comes without warning. 1 minute everything is still. The next, thunder cracks through the sky so loudly it feels like the ground shakes with it. The lights flicker once, twice, then everything goes dark. I freeze. I hate this. I hate the sudden silence after the noise, the way the house feels too big, too empty, too quiet. My chest tightens, breaths coming faster than they should. It's fine. It's just a power outage. It happens all the time. I don't need. Thunder crashes again. Closer. Louder. And suddenly, I can't think straight. I grab my phone, the dim screen barely lighting the room. No signal, no distractions, just the sound of rain hitting the windows and my own uneven breathing. Get it together, I whisper to myself. I don't. Another flash of lightning cuts through the darkness, and I flinch, my back pressing against the wall instinctively. This is stupid. I'm not a kid. I shouldn't. A knock. I freeze again. Who would? Another knock, firmer this time. I hesitate for half a second before moving toward the door, heart still racing. Who is it? I call out, trying to sound steady. You know who it is. My breath catches. Of course. Of course it's him. I open the door. He's standing there, slightly soaked from the rain, hair damp, hoodie clinging just enough to make it obvious he didn't bother with an umbrella. You okay? He asks immediately. No teasing. No sarcasm. Just that. I nod too quickly. I'm fine. He raises an eyebrow. You don't look fine. I said I am. Thunder interrupts me. Loud. Sharp. Too close. I flinch again. He notices. Of course he does. Yeah, he says quietly, stepping inside without waiting for permission. You're definitely fine. Don't make it a big deal, I mutter, turning away. I'm not. You are. I'm not. I cross my arms, trying to steady myself. You didn't have to come. I know. Then why did you? He doesn't answer right away. Instead, he moves closer. Slowly. Carefully. Like he doesn't want to startle me. Because I knew you'd be like this, he says finally. I'm not. Another thunderclap cuts me off. Closer. Louder. And this time, I don't hide it. The panic slips through before I can stop it. Before I can pretend. He doesn't say anything. Doesn't point it out. Doesn't make it worse. He just steps closer and pulls me in. It's not dramatic. Not rushed. Just instinct. His arms wrap around me, steady and warm, like this is the most natural thing in the world. I stiffen at first. Then, I don't. Because the panic is louder than everything else. And he's calm. Solid. Real. Breathe, he murmurs, his voice low, right by my ear. I try. Fail. Try again. His hand moves slightly, resting against my back, grounding me. Slow, he says softly. You're okay. Thunder rolls again, but this time, it doesn't hit as hard. Because I'm not alone. After a moment, my breathing steadies. Not completely. But enough. I pull back slightly, just enough to look at him. Big mistake. Because he's already looking at me. Closer than before. Much closer. His hand is still on my arm. My fingers are still gripping his shirt. Neither of us moves. Better, he asks quietly. Yeah, I whisper. But my voice isn't steady. Not because of the storm. Because of this. The space between us shifts. Again. Familiar. Dangerous. Unavoidable. His eyes flicker to my lips. Then back up. Slow. Deliberate. My heart starts racing all over again. But for a completely different reason. You should let go, I say softly. You first. I don't. Neither does he. Another flash of lightning fills the room. And in that brief second, everything feels suspended. Like time paused just for us. He leans in. Not hesitant this time. Not uncertain. Just careful. Like he knows exactly what he's doing. Like he's done fighting it. My breath catches. I don't move. I don't stop him. He's so close now. I can feel it. The moment tipping. The line disappearing. Then, he stops. Just before. Just close enough that our foreheads touch. Our breaths mix. Warm. Unsteady. Too close. Tell me to stop, he murmurs. I can't. I don't. And somehow, that's worse than if we had. Because now, we both know. There's no pretending anymore. And no going back. The morning after feels unreal. Not quiet like before. Not tense like everything is about to break. Just heavy. Like something shifted, and neither of us knows how to move around it yet. I see him before he sees me. Or maybe he does see me. He just doesn't react right away. He's back at the gate. Bike, same spot, same posture. Like nothing changed. Except everything did. Move your bike. It comes out automatic. Familiar. Safe. He glances at me, something unreadable flickering in his eyes. Took you long enough. I was busy. Doing what? Not your business. Still is. I pause. That sounds normal. Too normal. He shifts the bike slightly, just enough for me to pass. This time, I don't rush. I stop. Right in front of him. He notices. Of course he does. What? He asks. That's my question. What about it? This, I gesture between us vaguely. Whatever this is. He exhales slowly, running a hand through his hair. Yeah, he mutters. That. Silence stretches. But it's not empty. It's waiting. I start then stop. I know. That didn't happen. I know. Then why does it feel like it did? He looks at me then. Really looks. Because it was going to. My heart stutters. You said this shouldn't happen, I remind him. I did. And I meant it. Then why didn't you stop? He hesitates. Just long enough to answer everything. Because I didn't want to, he says quietly. That hits harder than it should. You can't just say that, I snap, my voice sharper now. You don't get to act like nothing's changed and then drop something like that. I'm not acting like nothing changed. You are. I'm trying not to make it worse. It already is worse. The words come out louder than I intended. But I don't take them back. Then what do you want me to do? He asks, frustration slipping through now. I don't know. That's the problem. I know. Silence again. But this time, it's not careful. It's messy. Real. You said I matter, I say, quieter now. You do. Then act like it. I am. No, you're not, I shake my head. You're acting like this is something we can just ignore. We should ignore it. Why? You know why. I want to hear you say it. His jaw tightens. You're my best friend's sister. There it is. That's not something small. I know. It matters. I know. Then stop acting like it doesn't. I'm not, I insist. I'm just saying it's not enough to pretend this doesn't exist. He steps closer. Not slow this time. Not careful. Just frustrated. You think I don't know that, he says, voice low. You think I don't feel it. Then why are you fighting it so hard? Because if I don't. He stops. Too late. If you don't what? I press. He looks away briefly, like he's choosing his words carefully. Then. Because I don't know how to do this without messing everything up. That lands. Hard. I swallow, my chest tightening. You're already messing it up, I say softly. He lets out a quiet, humorless laugh. Yeah, I figured. Another pause. But this one feels different. Less like distance. More like something building. I'm not just your neighbor anymore, he says suddenly. The words are quiet. But certain. My heart skips. Then what are you? I ask. He looks at me like the answer is obvious. Like it's been obvious for a while. I'm the guy who can't stop thinking about you, he says. And I hate that it's you. That should hurt. But it doesn't. Not really. Because. I don't hate it, I admit. Silence. Then. Something shifts. Finally. He exhales slowly, stepping even closer, the space between us disappearing completely this time. Say that again, he murmurs. I don't hate it, I repeat, my voice softer now. His hand lifts slightly, hesitating for a fraction of a second before brushing against mine. Not grabbing. Not pulling. Just there. This time. Neither of us pulls away. No storm. No interruption. No reason to stop. And yet, We don't kiss. Because this isn't that kind of moment. Not yet. Instead, he rests his forehead lightly against mine again. Closer than before. Easier than before. We're going to regret this, I whisper. Probably. Then why aren't we stopping? He smiles faintly. Because for once, he doesn't have an answer. And maybe, neither do I. But for the first time, that doesn't scare me. Because whatever this is, it's real. And this time, we're not pretending it's not. The end.